well over a year ago, our HOA decided to finally get into the damage that was caused by a hailstorm. It's pretty bad. Now, we can all agree that HOAs are freaking evil, yet we had really no choice but to accept it. Now, when we first moved in, their fees were, I think, about $120. Now, in 7 years, that's gone up to $315 a month. There's no pool that we can go swim in. There's nothing. Like, they don't do hardly anything. Yet now that they've decided to assess us $25,000, $23,400 and something, $25,000 basically, for a new roof and siding that they have taken their time for. My insurance company, which I called ahead of time and said, do we have the proper insurance? And that person at the local Allstate insurance company said, yes, absolutely. You have an HO6 policy. You have $50,000 in coverage. Whatever they throw at you, we're going to be able to cover. And I knew that it was going to probably be around $25,000. And I said that. And Paul at Jeff Grease's office in Colorado Springs said, yep, you're good. You are covered. In fact, you have an older plan, and that's beneficial to you because it covers everything. You have a great plan. And I was like, great, thanks for taking my call. And I hung up. Forward into the assessment, and we go back and we send it off to the insurance company with the HOA's assessment. We send it off to them thinking everything's going to be covered. And we get a call back from the adjuster, and she's like, yes, this Beth lady is like, yeah, you are covered. You're good. A week goes by. She calls me and says, you're not covered. We found, and she was actually happy. She goes, we fortunately found something in the assessment, or in the HOA's assessment, and there was a couple words in there that makes it so we don't have to cover you fully. What? You promised. In fact, you told me that I was fully covered. My insurance agent and his office, Paul, told me that I was covered. Now, it turns out that in the state of Colorado, if an insurance agent promises you something, they have to deliver. It's an ethics clause. It's a law that they have to cover something if they say they're going to cover it. 3 doors down, we have a neighbor that this exact same scenario happened. Now, his insurance agent happens to be another Allstate insurance agent just down the road from us, just down the street. Our kids play together, and somebody in his office said, yeah, you're covered. You're going to be fully covered. Don't worry about it. Turns out his policy wasn't. Well, he had ethics. Ethics are important when you're an insurance agent. The reality is they have to cover it. They have insurance for this. When they make mistakes, it happens. Now, my neighbor, Travis, is a good dude. And he said, yes, we're going to cover that. And yeah, it might bite into our profit, but we need to cover this. My insurance agent, Jeff Grease in Colorado Springs of Allstate Insurance, said, yeah, he never said that. He never promised that. Well, how do you know that? Aren't all calls recorded? In an internal investigation from Allstate, Jeff denies that this ever happened. How do I know this? Because I was given a recording of Jeff's sworn testimony to the internal investigator. How does Jeff know what Paul said? Well, there should be recordings. In fact, there are recordings of every single phone call that goes into that office. Jeff, under oath, says, I don't have access to that phone. In fact, I don't even know how to access it. It's through a system, and we've never had to use it. I don't even know how to access it. So what does that internal investigator goes, good enough. We don't have to cover this. So they don't. So I go to the Division of Insurance in Colorado. Now, the Division of Insurance of Colorado regulates and punishes bad insurance agents in the state of Colorado because they lie and go through they go through a whole process, they investigate it, and almost always, it turns out, that they rule in favor of the person because we can document it. Well, I've clearly documented and proven that they have constantly not done what they were supposed to do and have promised me that they would do something, and yet they're not following through. Now, the problem with Allstate is they don't care. They're huge. And the funny thing is, they've probably spent more time that's cost them a minimum of $25,000, where they could have just written me the check and been done with this whole scenario. But the Division of Insurance, Colorado Division of Insurance, Juan specifically, has not filed his findings. It's been well over a week. He told me it would take him 1 day and he would file it. So it's been over a week. They also had a full month to report back and give their findings to the Division of Insurance. Allstate sends that in. In fact, I find out later that they're late, that they missed the deadline. Now, if you miss the deadline in the state of Colorado, the finding goes immediately to the complainant, me. Allstate was late, and they're still haven't filed their report. Now, I'm hopeful that the state of Colorado is going to say, yeah, you're pretty egregious in this whole thing, Allstate, pay the man. But that's not what's happening. There's no findings. There's no report. There's nothing. So we find ourselves in a position that if we don't have $25,000 immediately, we're in big trouble. Now, we were already in a bad situation as a family. My company that I worked for cut my hours, and the other source of income that I have is gone. So I have nothing coming in. Now, I've tried to supplement that with, some TikTok shop. That's going to take time, and I understand that. And then we also have some other things. You can see my link in bio if you desire to help us out in any way, shape, or form. That's not the purpose of this video, but if you can help out, thanks. We've got Make Him Known and some other things that we have going on, and it's all in my link tree. And you can give directly if you really... If somebody's like, dude, that sucks, here's $25,000, I'll take that, but I'm not asking for that. That's just beside the point. We're at this point, though. Like, what do we do? We're going to have to sell our house, go bankrupt, because the insurance company is freaking evil, and we all know that the freaking evil insurance companies and HOAs combined just lead to disaster over and over and over, but there's got to be something done here. This has got to stop. This is crazy. And I have no other option but to put this out on the internet for people to see, to say, what the hell is going on here? So if you can, like it, share it, comment on it, boost this post so as many people, especially here in Colorado, can see this. Tag the governor, tag your local representatives. We need answers why this process is this terrible. And we need answers on why Allstate is screwing their people over when they promise something that they need to fulfill their promises. Period. That's the ethical thing to do. It's the moral thing to do. It's the right thing to do. It's the lawful thing to do. Allstate, do better.